This conference will now be recorded.
I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting of Zephyrhills, Florida, Monday, February 10th. Can I have the roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Kenneth Burgess.
Here.
Charles Proctor.
Here.
Lance Smith. Here. Jody Wilkinson. Stephen Spina.
Here.
Mayor Munson.
Here.
William Poe. Here. Matthew Maggard.
Here. Okay, and at the beginning of the meeting, if you guys can just bear with me for just a second, I don't usually do this, and I'm not very good at it, but yesterday I lost a friend and a colleague, but more importantly, our town lost a friend and a coach and a mentor, and Tom Fisher lost a battle with a horrific disease yesterday. He's was a head football coach for 20 years at Zephyrhills High School. The field is named for him, but more importantly, he coached and taught hundreds, if not thousands, of our residents. So at this time, I will be calling up Pastor Julio Garcia. And I would like for everyone to kind of keep Tom, his wife Gail, his daughters Amanda, Kelsey, and Haley, and his 6 grandchildren in our prayers as we pray. So at this time, I'm going to have Pastor Julio Garcia come up and lead us with an invocation, and we'll follow that with a pledge of allegiance.
Yeah, Father, thank you so much for this time, and we lift up your most holy name. We thank you, God, for the opportunity to come in this country, in this free country, and come together with the city council. And God, we just ask for your blessing. We lift you up and we praise your name. We ask for your blessing, for wisdom and guidance, unity and collaboration. God, that you would instow wisdom on the council, God. And I especially want to lift up Tom Fisher and his family. Lord, we thank you for people in this city that are willing to give their time, their efforts, their passion, their hearts to the city to embetter it and embetter the people, God. We lift up his family. And God, I want to thank you for all the people that he poured into over the years, all the things that were unseen, all the things that nobody noticed, but changed lives not only for days, but maybe even generations, God. And we know that that's not unnoticed. And God, I thank you for everybody in this room that's here to contribute to make this city beautiful. We thank you for the warm breezes here, this pure water of a city, God. And we thank you for all the surrounding cities that your glory would come. And we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Garcia. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting and ask you at this time if you can silence your electronic devices. The beginning of the meeting is set aside for citizens' comments. And if you have any comments to make to the council, you'll have 3 minutes for the comments. And when you come up to the podium, you need to state your name and address for the record. So at this time, I'm going to ask the city clerk if we have anybody signed up.
Yes, sir. First, I have Devin Pole.
All right, Devin. No, Devin. All right. Well, maybe he'll come in a minute or two. We'll see.
Next, Leanne Jensen.
All right, Leanne. Okay. Like I said, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes for your comments.
Thank you, sir. Hi, my name is Leanne Jensen. I live at 5549 23rd Street here in Zephyrhills. And there were 2 things that I wanted to comment on. The first is the grand opening of Hercules Park. My children have attended school here for years, and they have seen the progress being made on the park, and they're very excited about it. And the wait is nearly over, and they were pretty crushed to find out that the grand opening is occurring on a school day in the middle of the school day, and they won't be able to attend. It's especially hard for them considering this year there's no school on the next day, Friday the 14th. So hopefully there will still be some wonderful activities happening at the park this weekend, and maybe next time there's a big kid-centric event or park opening, it'll open on a weekend. And the other matter was with the growing egg crisis, we've looked through the ordinances and found that we are not able to have any chickens in our yard in Zephyrhills proper. And considering the egg crisis, the cost of living crisis, if we were able to have even a handful of chickens, we would be able to provide those eggs to ourselves and to our neighbors. And it would be one small thing that we could do to help better the overall environment. And so maybe that's something that we could look at in the future, is allowing residences to have a chicken or 2, aside from the ones that come in anyway.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Leanne. Well, yeah, I'll let Councilman Proctor address the egg thing, and then I'm going to call our CRA director to up to address the Hercules Park thing. So,
Ma'am, I'm glad you brought that up. We were just talking, well, I was talking with the city manager about it, and we were talking the same thing. I wanted to re-look at this ordinance. I tried to get it done a year or so ago, and it just didn't happen. But we're going to revisit it, and hopefully you'll come to the meeting. It'll be on the agenda, and you can come and maybe bring some friends that support it.
Is there anything that we residents can do to help with that process, aside from coming to the meetings, which I will do?
well, the gentleman had come a few meetings back and brought a lot of information about it, and we were kind of looking into what other municipalities have, how they have addressed this too, because we don't want to try and reinvent the wheel or anything. So I don't know where the status is on how, when looking into that, where we're at. Maybe the city manager could let us know if we haven't. I mean, I don't know how far we're still kind of looking into this matter on the chicken thing, right? Okay. I knew so somebody was here a few meetings back and brought a lot of information. So it's something we're talking about, just to let you know. And then Gail, is it possible? I mean, I could relay some information, but I'd just rather you address why we're doing it on that particular date.
Nope, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
Yeah, let her.
Good evening, Gail Hamilton, CRA Director, City of Zephyrhills. The reason we did it on the 13th, we originally had it planned for the 14th, and the school asked us to do it on the 13th. So that's why we're doing it on the 13th. It will be open on the 14th, so families who are not in school, or kids are not in school on the 14th, they can come. The park will be open and waiting for them.
and wasn't the reason the school wanted it because there's going to be several students coming over from the school
Yes,
for
we
the
have-
grand opening?
we
What
have
school do
kids.
your kids go to, ma'am? Oh, okay. Yeah, I
So we
think,
have kids from Woodland and West
Right.
coming.
okay, so you do have the elementary school.
Yes.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there going to be kind of another, something in the summertime? We were going to do
Yes.
another,
Right now, the weather is iffy, and so we
Right.
were hoping that when the warm weather got warmer on a Saturday, we would do a Saturday day and evening event for the kids. We'd have a kids' day zone thing for them and really, hopefully, not just one, but multiple ones through the spring and summer for families to come out and enjoy the park.
Well, thank you for letting us know the information on that. So you understand why that we got changed. Um, Anybody else signed up to speak?
One of the other
Okay.
things is there's only so much parking out there. And so, the school, Woodland really wanted that to be done while they were in school so their kids can walk over. So it was done in partnership, and I understand social media thinks that we're idiots, but we're really not. It was done for a reason, and there'll be more celebrations out there, but yeah, sorry.
And as Gail said, 14th, it's open and ready for anybody. So they'll be able to come out and spend the whole day there, I guess, if they want. Do we have anybody else signed up?
Yes, Mary Holt Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't. All right.
Kendall DeFord.
No?
Kendall DeFord at 5714 18th Street here in town. And I know from time to time our police department, our public works, and all our great city employees are thanked for their work. I represent the Greater East Pasco Chamber of Commerce. We had the barbecue and blues on Saturday here downtown, and the Department of Public Works, they were just everywhere. They were keeping the sidewalks clean. I particularly saw one where somebody literally spilled a garbage bag full of stuff. They were there cleaning it up. I just thank them. My truck drivers that come and pick up my stuff, I try to meet them at 6:30 in the morning and thank them. I just appreciate our Department of Public Works. Thank you.
Thank you.
I thank you, Kendall. And thank you for coming out to our meetings. You're one of our very few regulars that we have, so I appreciate you too. Anybody else?
That's all who has signed up.
Okay. Anybody that's here wish to speak, Johnny? Okay.
The police department was everywhere as well. They
Yep.
were we were doing the beer sales with the Rotary and Chamber. They were there. They were at roads. The cars were blocked, and just in case we learned from other experiences. But it was a very good turnout, and a lot of police were there, and they were friendly, and appreciate that too.
Okay. At this time, this portion of the meeting, we turn over to Mayor, and she always has a lot of good, fun stuff for us. So,
Well, we're going to start with the students working against tobacco. I think Billy, there we go. I'm sorry, I don't know your names, so you'll have to tell us your names when you come on up, okay? Just pull that down. You're
My
good.
name is Amariana Medina.
Amar. I'm sure she is. Listen, every time I talk, I'm the same way. So I'm with you.
You don't look nervous.
In Pasco County. Miss, good gosh, I'm drawing a blank now, Miss Unique, I'm so excited. Miss Unique is gonna share about her SWAT club, and you'll be hearing some more. But it started right here with you embracing the youth. So Miss Unique will say one word, and then the next voice you'll hear will be a Mariana. And I'm Jewel, by the way.
So my name is Unique Bird. I'm the club director of the Boys and Girls Club in Lakuchi. I've been there. March will be 3 years, but Miss Jewel approached me a couple of months back, closer to back to school time, early August, and she was very excited about SWAT, Students Working Against Tobacco, and she got me equally as excited. And in a very short amount of time, she had recruited most of my teenage girls, which is about 5 to 6 girls in the club, to become excited as well about working against tobacco with children and the abuse of drugs overall. So my girls have taken a lot of time and they've learned a lot about the program and about what it means. But mostly I've noticed that, their confidence to be able to come in front of people such as tonight and speak. And although Mariana is nervous, her confidence has grown exponentially. She is very intelligent and very capable. And I'm very proud of her for taking on this endeavor because, like you, I also get a little shaky when I have to speak in front of folks. So I think that the SWAT Club is teaching my girls to be proud of who they are, but also to be confident in the endeavors that they're offered and the opportunities as well. So thank you all so much for this time that you're giving us. And without further ado, I'll have Mariana say a few words to you all.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Monson, council members, and citizens of Zephyrhills. My name is Mariana and I am in the 6th grade. I am a member of SWAT at the Boys and Girls Club. SWAT means Students Working Against Tobacco. Why am I here? I am here to say thank you for adopting the ordinance to no smoking in the city parks. After the ordinance was adopted in Zephyrhills, I knew our SWAT clubs had to work on getting a no smoking ordinance adopted in neighboring cities. So stay tuned. Recently, our SWAT club did a park cleanup in Stanley Park in Lakuchi. We were shocked at the amount of cigarettes and vape cartridges that were left laying on the grass and in the parking lot. These items can get into our waterways, and worse, small children can pick them up and put them in their mouths. SWAT will not stand by and allow the greed of tobacco industry to hurt youth anymore. The members of Students Working Against Tobacco are raising our voices and taking our lives back. Thank you for hearing what I had to say, and thank you for all you are doing for citizens of your city.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.
Wow.
Yes, sure.
And thank you guys for what you did. And when you guys were here before, we got right to work on that ordinance pretty quick afterwards. And we continue to look at things that we can maybe add to it to, even strengthen it more. And I'm 100% behind what you guys do. So thank you very much for coming out and giving us an update on how it's progressing. So that's really great.
That is great news. And with our parks, as we update our parks, it was very important to us to make sure that they're clean, that everyone can go to the parks, that you don't have to worry about having cigarettes around you constantly. So thank you for bringing that to our attention and for partnering with us on that. We appreciate it. And Mariana, you did amazing. So there you go. Wonderful.
I'd like to add too that I met Unique about a year ago, I guess, when you gave us a tour, a couple people from Zephyrhills, we had a tour of the Boys and Girls Club. So it's a great facility up there. And if anybody would like to see what they do in the community, I'm sure she'd be happy to do that as well. But it's good to see you again.
Yes, that's true. They do a great job. I've been up there many a times and I haven't met Unique, so I'm glad to get to know her. Maybe at Juneteenth I might have met her there, but I don't remember. But you guys are doing amazing work up there. We appreciate that. Okay, next we have Florida Rural Water Association.
Good evening. Mariana, I don't know if I can tackle what you did up here.
I know.
I may need you to come stand beside me and give me some encouragement. I always encourage young ladies who are learning. So
Girl power.
I love it, girl power. Very good. Thank you, Mariana. I appreciate you being up here. My name is Alicia Keeter. I am the Executive Director for Florida Rural Water Association. We're an association that is formed to help utilities around the state of Florida. And one of our very important details that we perform each year is Florida Water Wastewater Action Response Network. In the event of gray sky events, as you all know, you experienced Hurricane Milton this past October. We're very intimately familiar with the destruction and damage that occurred. And one of the things that the city of Zephyrhills offered to our Flawwarn network and our emergency response team was the opportunity to host a site as a laydown yard, an opportunity to be able to get our utilities resources that were deployed from small, medium to large all around. So this area was afforded the opportunity that we could bring generators, our bypass pumps, to be able to get people like Mariana back up and running with water and wastewater services after the storm had passed. And I was also given the opportunity to come back and to help Billy Poe and John Bostic after the storm passed and the floods came and did not dissipate for a very long time to help in response and recovery efforts. So it's a pleasure for me to come and present this to you all tonight. So Mariana, will you mind holding this and allowing me to read that, please? And then John, if you'll come up, please. Billy, would you come over, please? So Florida Rural Water Association Certificate of Appreciation. It's presented to City of Zephyrhills. The Florida Rural Water Association thanks you for your hard work and dedication to Florida's water and wastewater utilities in our time of need. We are grateful for your personal sacrifices and commitment in helping us provide emergency response relief for those affected by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. So we are forever in your debt for allowing us to use the facilities. We use the train station as an area. We also were able to store generators that were small generators that were donated by a nonprofit organization to be able to deploy to the communities and the mobile home parks and the areas around the city. So we're very appreciative for the effort and the opportunity, and we thank you so much for your partnership. Because of your efforts and what you did, we were able to get systems back up and running that were not able to. And it was for your generosity that we're thankful. And we see that that is a beacon that we can shine that light to other neighborhoods around to say, these are the things that we do. We're not just utilities helping utilities, we're friends helping friends. So we're very appreciative of your efforts. So if y'all don't mind, can we all get together in front of the plaque? There we go. Let's see everybody. Why not?
Got it.
And lastly, we have the Black History Month proclamation. If you ladies would come up with us. I'm excited about this. Thank you. So, yep, I'm going to have you say, come on up here with me. Tell them your name and where you're from.
I am from Zephyrhills, grew up here, went to school first at the elementary school here, West. And my name is, I'm a member of Macedonian Missionary Baptist Church, Elder Mary Hope Williams. And
my name is Sheila Scott. I grew up in Dade City, and then I moved to Zephyrhills. So, Pirate and Bulldog.
There you go.
Same church. Same church.
we are standing in for Reverend Adrian Gay. He could not be here this evening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. So I have African-American grandchildren that, so
Okay.
we celebrate.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. We
Okay.
just celebrate, and I love being able to do this. So thank you. Whereas Dr. Carter G. Woodson is an esteemed historian, author, and journalist, established Negro History Week in 1926, which later expanded to Black History Month, officially recognized nationwide in 1976. And whereas Black History Month serves as an opportunity to acknowledge, honor, and celebrate the contributions of Black Americans who have shaped the social, economic, cultural, and political landscape of our nation and the city of Zephyrhills. And whereas Black Americans have played an essential role in shaping our local and national identity, working to ensure justice, equality, and opportunity for future generations. And whereas the city of Zephyrhills acknowledges the resilience, leadership, and achievements of Black individuals who have strengthened our community through their dedication, perseverance, and commitment to progress. And whereas Black History Month is a time for all Americans to remember the stories and teachings of those who helped build our nation, took a stance against prejudice to build lives of dignity and opportunity, advance the cause of civil rights, and strengthen families and communities. And whereas during Black History Month 2025, the City of Zephyrhills proudly recognizes the outstanding contributions of Black residents, leaders, educators, and entrepreneurs who have made a lasting impact on our city and beyond. Now, therefore, I, Melanie Barr Monson, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of Zephyrhills, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2025 as Black History Month in the city of Zephyrhills and encourage all residents to join in honoring the many contributions made by Black Americans while continuing to promote unity, understanding, and progress in our community.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
All right, I just have an announcement that during the grand opening ceremonies at Hercules Park on Thursday, the city will recognize and commemorate Black History Month as part of the service and as a reflection of the contributions African Americans have made to our community and to our country. And because of the history of Hercules Park, uh, we've chose to do it at that time. And some of the people who actually live there, like May Pickett and Celia, they will be there and recognized as well. So
I remember it from way
right.
back into promise of it.
That's what we thought too.
It did
Mhm.
It's been a
come.
long process.
Thank you. It's nice to
Thank
see you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all I have,
Okay.
President.
We have our consent agenda items. There are 6 listed tonight, so we can vote on them in their entirety, or anyone can pull one for further discussion.
President, I move that we accept all 6 consent agenda items as presented.
I would like to just point out that I had appointed Mike Ward, who I think most of y'all know, to the Airport Authority. He was recently become a pilot, very interested in the airport. He was a lender here, has been in the area for years, raised his family up in Dade City. So I think he'll do a good job on that. So I was happy, and he gladly accepted. So.
I have a motion and a second to accept all 6 consent agenda items as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Finance Director's report.
Good evening, Ted Beeson, Finance Director for the city. We just wanted to come before you to ask that initially when we transitioned from muni billing, where we had outsourced our billing operation, we asked for a total of 7 staff members in the utility billing area. During the budget process, we had a part-time individual, so we dipped down to 6.5. We'd like the flexibility now that we've had some turnover to go ahead and have that at 7 again. There will be no change in the annual cost in the budget. We just want that authorization in case we decide to fill that position with a full-time person. That's simply the case.
Anybody have any questions?
No. Thank you, Ted. And I did notice that budget remains the same. I'd move approval of this item, Mr. President.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead. I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to request to change the part-time position to full-time position in the Finance Department. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you, Ted. Planning Director's report. I believe Todd has something for us.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Todd Vandenberg, Planning Director. I just have one item to report on this evening, item 3.1. It's a plan and report on indoor storage, outdoor storage, some updates, code recommendations. Just to start off with this item, it's a plan and report. There will be no formal action that's required to be taken this evening. I'll be referring to my agenda memo if you want to bring that up on your screens, and then I'll have Ricardo bring up a few attachments that I've included. As you know, the city had previously had a moratorium on indoor storage, RV and boat storage, and outdoor storage. That moratorium has expired, and staff is tonight providing a plan and report on use ideas, code ideas for consideration as we move forward with your pleasure on any land development code changes or use table changes. The intent of the moratorium was to review and to assess these 3 types of storage and determine, on the use table and the land development code related standards if some changes should be proposed. So that's what we're bringing forward tonight. We did create a map that Ricardo has just brought up showing the existing and proposed locations of existing, what we're starting with is indoor storage. We'll break it up into 3 different categories. So the areas in green or yellow you can see within the city limits are existing indoor storage facilities. The one starting on the north end, we do have one that's actually outside the city limits. One was built in the county on the west side of 301, a little near Wire Road, before Wire Road actually. It's built along the hill there. We got a couple there scrolling down to the south near the intersection of 301 and Pretty Pond Road. Zephyr Commons had one of the earlier ones that were built as part of Zephyr Commons, kind of behind the Chick-fil-A. You see 1 story, but then it drops in the back. So that one's there. And a more recent one at the intersection of northwest intersection of Pretty Pond and 301. That's part of a mixed use development, extra storage that's located in the back of that planned development with some commercial retail along 301 and Pretty Pond. And then another recent one there in sort of in the middle of the city on the south side of Daughtry Road. That one is on the west side of 301 south of Daughtry. They have a small 2-story office building and the larger 3-story kind of set back at that location. Squirrel storage off of Airport Road near the airport is a 1-story mini warehouse type, kind of more the older school storage facilities. We do have one that's not on this map. It's a little bit further outside of the Zephyrhills boundary on State Road 54, kind of that similar type 1-story mini warehouse type of product. And then the one that is proposed that you probably remember that we brought through a conditional use is at the southeast corner of Chancey Road and State Road 39. That one we ran through the process. you folks approved it. Not sure when that is going to get started. My understanding was that it's still going to move forward, but I can't give you an update as to when that might occur. A little bit more history. Council had approved ordinance 1431-21 that actually amended our use table to the current under the mini warehouse and self-storage for some of the issues and categories that we'll be describing tonight. So that was the latest time that we had updated the use table that allows the different types of storage. Then we also have the Land Development Code's current standards. That's section 7.09.16. We do have that. Ricardo, if you want to bring that up, I won't go over all those standards, but we do have a section in our Land Development Code for mini warehouse and storage units. I won't go through those verbatim, but we do talk about the height of the buildings, you know, the minimum standards. Otherwise, you, of course, go to a conditional use. We do have signs in there, and it provides for a maximum height of 25 feet. I think that's something we should look at. It's a little bit taller than our normal signs that we approve. I don't remember the history on that coming in, but that's something that I've marked that probably if we decide to move forward with some code changes that we'd want to take a look at that maximum height.
That was a sign, Todd?
Yeah, the sign, it's number, paragraph F, to not exceed the maximum height of 25 feet or exceed 50 feet in square feet in area. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure of the history on that. I don't know if the building department is aware of that, but then I also highlighted fencing, where we kind of took a stance on having some good fencing type material and products, and as well as buffers. So these are the codes that we currently have in place for when warehousing, indoor storage comes through. The other thing I've mentioned in my agenda memo, also in 2022, ordinance number 1439, we also amended the indoor storage where we require those now. And the only one that would apply for now would be the new one coming through. And you probably remember it was a very attractive looking building, but all new indoor storage facilities now are required to meet the large retail design standards that we had approved for a big box over 25,000 square feet. So we're also applying that now to indoor storage facilities. So we have those. I won't go through all these details. You probably had a chance to look at it. A lot of it has to do with some extra attention to development design standards like architectural details, some breaks in the buildings, materials. So I think that was a good addition. I think we'd want to keep that in there, in my opinion. So that kind of is some of the history of what we've been doing the last several years with the indoor storage facility standards. And then what I do in my agenda memo, I break it further down into 3 separate categories. And we'll just continue on starting with the first category, indoor storage facility. That's kind of the main category, in my opinion, that we'll want to continue looking at if we make any changes. Indoor storage right now under our use table, we'll start with that. Under the use table provision, it's a provisional use that requires Planning Commission approval in the C2 zoning. And it's permissible, so it's permitted by code under our use table in C3 zoning, which we have very little of C3 zoning, as you know. And it can be a conditional use under LI, light industrial zoning. So that, of course, requires Planning Commission and City Council approval. So that's how indoor storage is currently stated under the use table that's in our Land Development Code. So what I do next is I just kind of thought tonight we'd throw out some considerations for discussion, and then we would come back after we get some input from council, and if you'd ask us to move forward, the next step would be a development of a new ordinance that would address any changes either to the code or the use table. So obviously one choice is we can make no changes, of course, like any time. Second, we could amend the table as to where indoor structures are permitted. We've had some discussion in the past about amending the use table for indoor storage based also on the amount of existing planned indoor storage. And that's kind of what led to, I think, the moratorium. The council asked staff to look at the amount of indoor storage that we had going on. And, did we want to make any changes on that use table that we just talked about? Another discussion that we've had on specifically on indoor was allowing indoor storage as part of a mixed use project, kind of like that one that's at the northwest corner of Purdy Pond and 301, where the indoor storage is located in the far back. It's not located on either right of way, 301 or Purdy Pond. So you have liner buildings that kind of block the view shed of that indoor storage. So that's one option that we've talked about. Another option that we shared or I talked about was the idea of a mixed use building where the indoor storage could be vertically integrated into the mixed use building. And Carl, could we bring up a photo that I had attached? Thank you. Here's an example that I got from a realtor down in Manatee County where, again, you see some mixed use that's been incorporated into this building. So it's vertically integrated into a mixed use building. A little difficult to see, but on the bottom floor here, you can see retail that's on the bottom floor, and then it's indoor storage that's located above it. And obviously they probably had some architectural design standards. Right now, this wouldn't be permissible in our CRA district where we limited to 1 story, but I have talked with Gail and showed her this picture, and we felt like, if you can do a good job with vertically integrating the indoor storage into a mixed use building like this, if it's truly mixed use, and we'd have to make sure the code, but that's something Gail and I have talked about. She liked the look of this building, and whether it's, indoor and one different type of use or however we'd want to look at that. I think that's what's occurring here. But Gail was of the opinion and feeling that, if you could get something like this where it's vertically integrated into a quality looking mixed use building, that she'd be open to the idea, at least considering it. Yes, sir.
Question. I like the look of this, but I wonder, I can see the drive-in. Is there parking or spaces up on these additional floors? How would people access their units, their rental,
Well, I haven't been to the property, and generally, yeah, you're going to have parking that's affiliated with an indoor storage. It's not significant amount of parking, and I guess that could be part of a mixed use building, but generally speaking, traditionally, that's going to be very expensive to make indoor
That's
parking.
what I mean. You don't really need that much parking, which is a plus. But normally when you're moving into it, you're going to have to have somewhere
storage areas for your
where you
trucks.
can park your car or truck and empty it. So I just wondered. That's just something to think about, I think. But I like the concept.
I think we did too, and I assume that there's parking behind it, and that's something we could research and do a little bit more investigation on. But yeah, so that was pretty positively received. I think overall, like you've seen the agenda memo, I think from a staff standpoint, the other thing that you saw on there is, do we want to continue to allow single-use indoor storage, like the ones that we have now, to continue to allow them on an individual lot or parcel? I think at the staff level, we were certainly okay with the idea of considering maybe allowing them as part of a mixed-use project where they're located, situated in the rear of a property and not fronting on a local or arterial collector street, and or a part of a mixed use where it's vertically integrated into a building. I think, again, we were looking at the amount of indoor storage that we have. Maybe we don't exclude it completely, but maybe consider those 2 ideas is where we're at, kind of at a staff level. So I think with that, I'll stop and see if there's any comments before we jump to the next type of storage.
Todd, so obviously with the developments that have come in the last several years of these townhome projects and apartments and things like that, there's a need for this. but you talk to anybody on the street, nobody wants to see them. We've done a great job. I think you've done a great job of the look of them. Like you said, we had that one by, off of Pretty Pond there in the back. The other one, the fencing, the things you talked about, the new one that's going in down there off of Chancey Road and stuff. We've done a good job of all that. I just wonder, have we considered, with these developments that come in that are creating the need for these indoor storage places, have we ever given thought of like, maybe they should set aside some property on their development for the storage? I was looking at this, I said, that'd be like a great idea. You put your clubhouse down here and you have your storage up above it. And a kind of a mixed use type building. And they're kind of, since they're creating the need for it, they can also, supply it, I would think. And I look at that building and think that would be like a great thing to have on, in a development that's, would be looking for it. And, I was even kind of running along, if the HOA had it, they probably could lower their fees because they could create income by these storage. There's a lot of things you could look at. I just don't know if we ever really kind of considered something like that.
Well, I mean, we haven't, but I think you brought that up to me before, and it's an interesting concept, particularly the larger projects, like
Right.
larger residential projects where, maybe a small townhome, maybe you could have a small area for even boats or RVs, kind of fulfilling that need for outdoor storage versus, we'll talk later about taking up your light industrial zone property for boat and RV storage.
That's what I was kind of considering. We're sort of taking up some of the property we could use, commercial property
Yeah.
or light industrial, for other needs. That would be a better need for us as opposed to, storage. But I mean, there is a need for the storage for sure.
Is that what the guy on 39 and Chancey Road is kind of doing? I mean, he's got a frontage with the storage, and then he's got the residential behind it. So it's almost kind of what you're talking about.
Yes.
And I had to move some of my household things into the storage, and I moved it into the one that was there behind the steakhouse there, in front of Walmart. And it gave me a little bit different perspective on the mini storage. I saw people obviously moving that had flood damage, moving in their stuff into it. And I also saw people that own businesses storing inventory there, storing tools there. So it's not just the people storing their junk like you would think, and it was very well done, the one that in front of Walmart and the one that's on 301 there behind on the Dice's property.
Yeah.
They're all very well done.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had a little bit of a change of heart on it. I think that if we don't, I think we need to put it in a form that's desirable to us, and I think those two are, I think those are two examples of good ones. I'm not real crazy about the whole single story ones, but the thing is, if, they're going to come in if it's needed. If it's needed in the market, they'll come in, whether that it's in the city of Zephyrhills or just outside the city of Zephyrhills in Pasco County. So, I mean, I think we ought to try and get them in the city, get the tax revenues from them, but make them desirable. Something like this, I don't know if the mini storage community will do that. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe we allow for it, but yeah, market's going to dictate.
The market dictates what goes
Well,
in.
some of the other discussions too, the facts are, I think we talked about this before, maybe when we were doing the one at Chancey and 39, is the benefit is, the ad valorem, they've got some value there, right? That you can assess values from it, and they don't create a lot of water need and create a lot of transportation trips. So there's some multiple benefits on them. But, again, staff was asked to review, investigate, right now, again, under the, I'll just remind you that for the indoor storage in C2, we only require to go through a provisional through Planning Commission. If you wanted to consider leaving them in at whatever level that we've talked about tonight, they could come to council where you guys are seeing them and making sure we're doing them in a proper manner with design, architectural standards, buffering, landscaping, all those elements. And again, right now they're a conditional use in LI. Do we want more indoor storage facilities in our light industrial. If you look at the light industrial area, it's predominantly around the airport. I think at the staff level, we weren't so sure with all the activity we've had in industrial manufacturing that maybe it's not the best location, but maybe C2, C3, or unless they're part of a PUD, like we've done some of that, could still be considered, but maybe take them out of the LI.
But Todd, the ones out by the airport there off of Airport Road behind those condominiums and stuff, that wasn't light industrial back in there, was it?
Yeah, we did have some light
We did have,
industrial
okay.
there.
But I
Yeah.
mean, going back to what we were talking about, like the two projects that were done behind old Dices and up on, they look great. And the one that's coming, we do something like that, that's great. And I think the ones over by the airport, where they're tucked in, you've got a railroad track behind them, you've got condominiums kind of blocking them.
Yeah.
They're sort of out of the, they're not,
Yeah.
I don't really need that same
That's kind of a
makeup.
unique area. That is a
Yeah,
good
and so
location.
those single storage like you're talking about, they kind of work there because, so there's, I think we'll have to look at it in that aspect of where's it going to go? How,
It is a case by case.
yeah, like a case by case type.
Now, we've also had, I was discussing with the city manager today, we've had an inquiry, nothing formally submitted, but a part of an existing commercial development where they have one already. And they're asking about having a second one. Now, mixed feelings on that. Maybe you get one per development or again, if it's a conditional use, we could, it's not permitted by right where you could look at it, consider it. But that was another instance that recently we've received communication about.
Mr. President, I like the concept, Todd. I've never been a big supporter of the storage units, but it's a necessary evil that we need. I like the idea that Councilwoman Burgess brought up about possibly the developers putting one in their development. I mean, that's a great idea if they would want to do something like that. And I think the development could have a revenue from that. Although the one we're looking at, that looks like it's 5 stories.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have to be 5 stories. It could be 2, could be 3, you'd
And like Councilman Smith said, the ones that we are doing the ones that we have done are out of the way and you can barely notice them. And what you can see looks good from the road.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's something that we are going to need more of.
So really, some of the questions that we're asking probably for some clarity is one, again, Gail's here tonight. We've talked a little bit about if it was mixed use, we'd probably be okay if it's vertically integrated and we could develop some draft language for y'all to take a look at and consider. And 2, I think we'd like to get some direction. And we don't have to decide tonight, just for discussion purposes, if you'd like to leave indoor storage in the light industrial zoning category.
I like some of your ideas. I like the idea really of not having a standalone indoor storage in a C2. I like the idea as part of a mixed use, like the one at Pretty Pond. I think the conditional use really should come to city council and not just the planning commission, because then, we're kind of surprised by it. We won't, well, I mean, it would come to us eventually, but yeah, so, I like the idea of the mixed use or a PUD like we did, or that was done down on Chancey Road. The other thing is the one up on Pretty Pond, they don't take a lot of space outside because usually you just pull up and then they have a cart and you haul your stuff in. But on the back row, they have RV parking back there, which is kind of convenient.
And we allowed that. Sometimes we haven't allowed that always. It's a good point you bring up. Are you okay with that? Probably if you can't see
I
it.
am, yeah. I think it works in that kind of a situation.
Okay.
I don't think it would work if it was sitting right on 301, but I think the way that's in the back, it goes with that kind of a use.
Fenced.
And it's fenced and Well, even that case, it's on the incline, it's, down, so
Hard to
there's,
see it.
yeah, it's hard to see it, but I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing to have as, incorporate that with it.
Because it does take up space. You don't get any ad valorem. So we can kind of look at that both ways, maybe in a limited fashion.
Yeah, that was pretty limited there, and I think
Yeah, it's
probably
only
wanted
one
in a
row.
limited
It's only-
fashion,
We
yeah.
limited it.
Yeah, there's not
To the
50
amount.
cars.
And if we look at things on a case-by-case basis, and we can see, because that does fit there, because it is down behind a hill and that kind of thing. So, I mean, it would have to be the kind of the right.
Right spot for
Right.
it, but I wouldn't be opposed to that in the right place at the right.
Okay.
Um,
So not on single lots or
no, I don't like
parcels?
the idea of single parcel. I like it a mixed use idea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just me.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it if the way, I think the form of it is more important to me
Okay.
than if it's part of a larger.
It's the one on south of Daughtry is very well done.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another one that, I mean, the last couple ones you've done have been very good.
And the one on Old Dices is well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one.
That's one.
Brick on it. Yeah, yeah.
What I like about them is you can't even really tell. You wouldn't know it was
No,
storage
right.
unless you saw the sign.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Don't
not
use
sure I
water
like it
either.
in the CRA myself. Because our CRA is not built for that kind of a
I don't
thing.
think we have any area that big, do we?
Yeah,
We could put it on the
this is
SunTrust
5
Bank or
stories, so
something.
I mean, I guess,
Maybe if it went on the SunTrust building, we could.
well, I mean.
But yeah, I don't think it's really fits our area
Okay.
personally.
And it maybe
What are
it
you
would be,
laughing
we could look at it, certainly look at it. If somebody
Oh, yeah.
came with some
Conditional use.
retail on the bottom,
I'm just concerned about, I need more information on this. I need to know how you get, if I'm driving up there with my pickup truck and I got a couch and a bunch of stuff in the back, how am I going to get from the road to the top floor where my storage unit is?
And pulling a trailer.
Pulling a
and-
trailer and
yeah,
all that.
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting up one of those in a car.
Yeah, you would pull through, I think what you'd have to designate a loading and unloading area that has like a cargo elevator
Downstairs.
downstairs. Yeah, you would pull through there. And it's hard to see here, but
Yeah.
it looks like those businesses
Yeah, you'd have to have like
they're
a-
not the whole length of the building. They're
Right.
15 feet long. It's just that front facade. And then behind that is parking. And then you're able to put in, like I said, some type of loading or unloading that has cargo elevators that
makes
can
sense.
take the stuff to the north
Well,
or to
when we
the
come
top.
back, we'll do a visual of the whole site so you can
Okay,
see
all right, but
the whole property.
that's my opinion. for that.
Okay.
So, and I feel like light industrial, we need to be careful and
Keep it out of
keep
light
light
industrial,
industrial
or-
and light industrial. This is, I mean, we do not have that much light industrial left.
I would,
I'm just
again, if we're
saying
looking at
that.
things by case, but otherwise, I would kind of like you said, I hate to do light industrial, although you did say there was a portion of light industrial of the single story one we were talking about by the airport there. I mean, again, that could be a place that maybe that was never going to be light industrial going to be there.
Yeah,
It was 5 acres. and
Right,
it's behind
right.
a-
That's what I'm saying.
That's really any of that left.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I think that's why that works. That works
Where
there.
that could occur.
Talk it out by the airport?
Yeah, the one
Airport
behind
Road.
On airport.
By Foxwood condominiums.
Yeah, and you guys like that one?
No, we're just
No,
saying.
we're just saying that
the use
Oh.
fits there.
That
because
works
of the-
better
Okay,
there
that
than-
is like,
It wouldn't, no, it's not a good one really.
okay,
but
thank
it's-
you, because
but
it
it's-
looks like it's gonna blow away with any kind of wind. It's,
But it fits with the condos there. The use fits with the condos. You couldn't put an industrial use right behind
I
those
gotcha.
condos.
Okay, all right. I just was,
There was
okay.
kind of a,
It's definitely
But
not
it said
very
that
pretty.
if there's going to be something like that, that's a good place for it,
Right.
as
It
opposed
just
to somewhere else.
should have been better fabricated.
balcony looking out
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
I
okay.
think it's,
Well, and it could be the people in the light industrial may use that as a warehouse for some of their products. So, I mean, it does have a use. I mean, a growing business needs a little bit more to store whatever.
Well, and if you're using it for that, where you have your business, similar to that, that's a whole different ball game than taking up a whole piece of property
No,
that could
but I'm
be.
saying all the surrounding businesses may
Right.
need extra storage for whatever they're producing or
Well,
whatever.
and again, it is a conditional use, so as you know, what we do now before the pre-app meeting, we meet with them and we try to kick it around internally, and we can kind of try to gain a consensus if we feel like there might be some concerns how they're looking to plan to do it. And if we're not comfortable with it, we just,
I think though, light industrial, we should kind of preserve that for the most part.
We don't have much left.
Yeah.
well, that's the other thing we looked at.
You kind of
Any
have a
other
good idea
comments? I
what,
think I got some direction
on the indoor facilities.
Yeah, that
Okay.
was kind of the main one. Okay, RV.
Todd, did we get direction on more than one unit per development?
Sounded like there wasn't an interest in.
There's no interest.
having
Okay. All right. I
On
just want to make sure
individual
that.
lots or parcels, and or if you already have one in an existing development, or
Is the developer gonna donate the property? Is that for the,
They'll
no,
sell it to
No.
one of these guys.
No.
Yeah, it's kind of the example that we have right now is we have a development PUD, commercial PUD that has a storage unit component on one of the parcels, and they're looking to add a second, completely separate.
That one come before us as a conditional use, is that correct? The original one,
The original one did come before council.
okay, so I mean,
But I guess
the other
question
one would
is-
have to do that too, but what you're saying is if you have one there, do you even want to bother with another one at all?
Secondary.
Correct.
right.
What would it matter though, if the guy down the road has one, we're gonna let that one go, and this guy, I think it's a market driven thing. That's me. I think it's all market driven.
And I think that case is one where, I mean, it's on a kind of a busy road and everything. It's not like a scenic route, really.
Right, and if we, again, orient the building where it's not on the corner,
Well, the other thing
It looks
consider
like
is
the other one he built.
we've kind of done our standards where we've sort of raised the standards on them. So the
Right.
existing one, I mean, we may want more on this one instead of the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. So, what's that?
Maybe something like this.
I don't
Not
know
so
if- I don't
tall.
know if,
Well, maybe not 5
I like
stories.
the one that he's presented. What's that guy's name on 39 and?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That looks
Is
like an
that-
office building.
It
Are you
looks like
talking
an-
about that property?
Very
Yes.
nice.
No.
that's not,
No, oh, you're talking about a different
Different
property.
piece of
Where
property.
there's already a storage unit?
but that's what I'm saying. We've since that, if I'm guessing where it's
Yeah,
at, we've
amended
changed
the
our standards to
standards since
look,
that one went in.
which are the ones we're talking about. So, I mean, if we were going to allow more than one and it's an existing one, we may expect more. We would want more than what was already there. So it may,
So, and the other thing, as we go forward with this, we may need to make sure we are letting our public know the reasons why, because we're
they're
people,
not popular.
they're
that's for
not
sure.
popular with any of our residents.
Oh,
We
they
know we need them. We understand till they need one, right?
Market driven.
but Right, market driven, but we need to make sure that we're putting that,
Incorporate them with a car wash and it'd be the perfect.
put a
So-
storage
so-
unit and a car wash on the
sorry.
same place. Then we'll,
Okay,
really.
we'll move
so,
on to.
well, anyway, so for Todd, for me, I've, as far as another one, it's kind of like what Lance said, if it just goes down the road a little ways, but I think we're looking for different product now than what we may have done before. So if we're going to add one to an existing area,
Better product.
I mean, that's just the way I would look at it. So do you want a definitive yes or no on more than one per project?
I don't know that we need definitive. I'm just trying to make sure that we have a good mix of uses within an existing PUD that already has a storage unit on it
Couldn't we,
along the
Don't
301
keep doubling
corridor.
up stuff and it overpowers the site.
and wouldn't we do it on a case by case basis?
Right. I think that would be the,
Well, and also like, if just say along a busy road, it's more conducive to retail, just like we did on the McDonald's and the other, it's behind it. It's not in the most desirable location,
Right.
Yeah.
To me, that makes a big difference.
Struggle with, okay, have one on right here, the one.
Well, the thought I have is I think location, because it depends on, I think, where they're going. If you're going to do another one, say down on 39 or Chansey Road or something, that's kind of an industrial manufacturing type place where they would fit in better. But if you're talking about putting one on, 9th Avenue and 301, I would say no.
We're
That's
talking
not
about
conducive to.
Cossack and 301, just north of Cossack, fronting 301.
It's on the back building.
It's at the front.
standalone.
It's right
It would
against.
front on 301.
Yeah, fronts on 301.
But not front on Casa. It could be behind.
Yeah,
Right,
see, I think
right.
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's why I think 39 or Chansey, I mean, where you're putting them makes a difference. We're talking about a whole new zoning district for just north of that, for the other property. So do we want to start, and there's a one right across from it. Do we want to start dotting the landscape with storage units? I don't think so.
I think that's.
I think we got our
the
direction on that
moratorium
one.
While we're looking at this, exactly.
Maybe you better keep the moratorium on until we figure this out.
That wouldn't hurt any.
To your pleasure. Well, we'll come up with a draft set of what we're hearing from the council and mayor. And again, we're not approving anything tonight, so we'll have more time to consider this. But well, the next one, recreational vehicle storage is a use in our land development code. That's of course the storage of vehicles, motorhomes, boats, camping trailers, truck trailers, and other equipment. All standards do require all vehicles must be in proper working order. And right now the RV storage may be considered as a conditional use in C3 and LI zoning. I think we've expressed some concerns with number 2 wasn't for that one, disregard that. But beyond that, after number 2, discussion of, the sufficiency of RV storage opportunities in Southeast Pasco. And then we've had quite a bit of discussion, right now, again, under the LI zoning, even though it's a conditional use, it's taken up valuable industrial land for manufacturing, job creation, and so forth. Now, as you also know, we've had a few that came in the industrial area where they placed some structures over them, over a percentage of the outdoor RV boat storage areas. So I think that just kind of lays the land of where we're at and some things that we've done. So I think it comes down to, at least at the staff level, do we want to consider these RV and boat storage areas in the city limits? And if so, right now, again, it's conditional use in C3 and LI. So, if they go in the LI zoning, there is no ad valorem, there is no job creation. And so that was a concern with staff. C3, the way it is right now, of course, we really don't have hardly any C3, so that's not really impactful. So I think a lot of it comes down to the council's pleasure on boat and RV storage. The feelings on it.
I'll just jump real quick. I think what we've done in the last couple that have come before us, where we requested some sort of a structure on a percentage of the land in order to, make it something that's desirable for retail, or not retail, but some sort of a resale of the property for some sort of manufacturing. Because if we just allow just someone to throw a fence up, and that's what it'll always be forever, because it's revenue generating and that's it. But I think if they put an investment in, like we've made the last couple to come before us do, then it makes a little more sense. Or just as they said on the one over there where they've got 10 or 12 spots behind a nice storage facility there.
Right.
That's where I would look at it. I
I
would not be for any just fence in a piece of property and start putting the
Yeah.
storage,
They're doing that all over the county.
Yeah,
Anybody that
there's
has
plenty of places
an
for
acre
it,
of
yeah.
land, they're putting up a fence and.
Right.
And you see that on Dean Dairy Road
And again, the couple that
Coates
we've done
Road and-
are in the right place. They're out the back of the airport, or be off the main
Right.
street, it's kind of out of the way, that type of stuff. So what we have has been good. I know there's another one off of Copeland and C Avenue or something there they haven't started on their building yet there, but we approved that too. And so, I mean, we have some of that already.
Yeah, I think that we don't really have vacant land available to dedicate to RV parking. Like, I mean, there are much more land out in the county for that kind of a thing.
Yeah. maybe
So
better out in the county.
I wouldn't add to it at all.
I agree with Councilman Burgess, Council President Burgess. The fact that if you put them out behind a unit, give them some spaces,
Yeah.
you could do 10, 20 spaces, whatever would fit. But I wouldn't want to be able to see it from the road or, I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean,
And we don't want it in the industrial quarter. We just
And
need to.
you're right. It ends up just staying that.
Mhm.
It'll never.
It's not
It'll
even a
never
placeholder
change.
for anything else. It ends
Right.
up staying that.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
So am I-
although there's a need for it because these deed restricted communities.
Well, it's the
they
same,
don't-
the same thing for the indoor storage. There's a need, there's
Right,
definitely a
there's
need.
a need for it, but maybe it's better in the county. I don't know.
I mean, I think environmental.
Yeah.
Speaking
good
when you're
point.
parked on
Especially if
grass
they're not
like that.
improved. Sometimes they'll make
Good
improvements on the parking
point. I
lots,
agree.
but. So am I hearing that not to increase it, but with the existing conditional use C3LI, maybe reducing it some?
Well, I think discussion on leaving the use in C3 and then maybe C2 if it's linked to a indoor storage.
Oh, yeah, I had
and they would
that.
be part,
Because again, they're
Unpaved,
creating
right,
a,
unpaved
I don't
road.
want it on dirt where it could pollute the ground.
Right.
Yep, got that. Okay. All right, outdoor storage, I mean, that's, I think, self-explanatory, the outdoor storage of any type of product, materials, equipment, appliances, et cetera. Right now, you can't just do that by itself, like even a lay-down area, we classify under that. And it can only be considered as an accessory use currently to the primary use. So it can't be a standalone outdoor storage area fence and laying down product. The other thing I hope you took notice of under the existing LI zoning definition, I provide the code reference. They provided some language in the code. The total gross area covered by building structure or stored materials shall not exceed 50% of the land area. Bill and I have talked with a potential industrial client that would have a large amount of outdoor storage area that would probably exceed the 50% of that area. So, you obviously want to be a little concerned with the amount of, again, just like we were talking about, the amount of the property for industrial and manufacturing, your job creator of how much you're putting up a fence and storing whatever the product might be.
Are you talking like they're storing
Well, like-
lumber or I'm
Morrow steel.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, I understand what
They've
you're
got a
talking
large
about.
You
lay
can't,
down
you can't
area.
even use that as an
No.
example.
No.
I mean, they're throwing their stuff in the right of way, on dirt, in mud, everywhere. They have no anything. So
But you're talking, so if someone were doing a building place and they had lumber or something out there that it can't be
Tibbetts
more
is
than.
coming. They're going to
Okay,
have some
gotcha.
lay
Okay.
down
yeah,
area.
that seems kind of restrictive actually, even to include some of the storage.
Like truss
I
manufacturers.
was gonna say, there's gonna be,
Use a big area, and I don't know if it's more than 50%, but they
Yeah, if you had
require
a-
a lot to lay out their inventory that they're delivering. So
it may not be there for a long period of time, but
Right.
there's gonna be a pretty good amount of area of truss. If it's a truss plant, would be a good example of several sets of trusses all around. Morrill Steel is kind of a good example too, in order for their product. I mean, they have to have a place to keep it, the raw steel before they, start doing whatever the product they're making. It's kind of I mean, some of that stuff's part of the business.
But I think we were trying to, at staff level, trying to think, if it's ancillary, not permitted by itself, then
Yeah, I
maybe
wouldn't
that's
want,
okay, but
yeah, I
then
wouldn't
what
want,
other
right.
standards do we want?
Yeah, I wouldn't
to
want
have?
somebody to just come out there and just store stuff in there, got a business in some other town or
Maybe
something.
one
and they're
thing, you
storing.
put a buffer, you
Yeah.
require a buffer around the whole fence, so you don't have to see the lay down area. I don't know.
Can I ask you, what is over there kind of by Sunrise, well, just a little bit down from there on First Street, there's a fenced in area there.
Oh, yeah. It's
What is that exactly?
A fence place.
Acme
Is that what it
Fence.
is? A fence company?
Yeah, it's a
Acme
fence
Fence.
company and,
Oh, Acme Fence.
right,
Yeah.
and behind there they have.
Okay, so
they
that's
have
all,
fence.
that's all
I
storage
think
for
storage
their fence
Mhm.
stuff.
So,
It's
there's a
fence
place
material.
on 20th Street, just
Yeah.
north of South Avenue. What, there's a couple houses and then you look back and there's like a huge garage and there's a lot of materials out there. Are they conducting a business out there? It's between South Avenue and 21st.
On 21st Street.
Right on the bend before you get to Tucker?
No,
No.
before you
Oh,
get to
no.
South Avenue.
Oh.
It's right in,
Not
At the
picturing
end of
that.
21st,
Yeah.
right, where you have to turn right to go to 20th, right there.
Oh, okay.
It's like a tractor.
Yeah.
it's a
yeah.
huge garage.
Yeah, it's like a
type-
two-story shed. There's like
Yeah,
a tractor
and-
and some
but I
other.
drove by the other day and
equipment there.
they had a lot of building material stuff
Yeah.
stored
Yeah.
out in the road. And that can't be
It-
zoned properly, can it? Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know what the zoning is, and I don't know
I
what.
mean,
I don't
it's
know the
R1
requirements.
zoning. I know what the zoning is. It's.
Yeah,
my
that's not a
street.
permitted use in the R1 zoning. Maybe we should have the building department or code
Should
enforcement
be
go out
looked
there.
at probably. We could make a note of that.
But Todd, I think, yeah, if it's an ancillary part of the business and the business is right there, I think that's kind of part of doing business. But if it's a lay down area from something that's not even in the area or something, I wouldn't want just a lay down area of stuff.
And they can't do that right now.
Okay,
Again,
they can't.
it
Okay, good.
It can only be ancillary
Okay,
to the permitted use in C3 and LI.
but that would be something we wouldn't want for sure. Anybody else have anything on the lay down areas or outdoor storage?
I think he knows what we want.
Okay, well, we'll put together the comments,
And
Matt and I will work on a draft.
You had brought up maybe some sort of buffering type things on
Yeah.
that, and that's probably something we could look into if there's an area where it's, I mean, everything out there that I'm thinking about is industrial, so you don't really probably need it out there, but if it was somewhere where it came up next to something else.
Yeah, next to residential, then you probably do the type
Yeah.
C buffer, but maybe not in the LI. I'll make a note of that.
Okay.
Any other comments? If not, thank you, and we'll come back with some proposed recommendations.
All right. Thanks you, Todd.
Todd.
All right. City manager report.
Council's time for the mayor's caucus. The qualifying period for the upcoming municipal elections is February 11th at noon and ends February 18th at noon. The charter requires the mayor's caucus to be held within 3 days following the end of the qualifying to accept candidate positions. Staff recommends having it the afternoon of the 18th at 5:30 p.m. It should be a 5-minute meeting.
What day is that?
18th.
18th is a
what day of the
Tuesday.
week?
Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday.
We can do it at 5 if you'd like. That's even
Takes
better
5
for
minutes.
staff.
Yeah.
You said 5:30 right now, but is there a different time somebody want? But
5 o'clock would be great.
I mean,
I'd have
think
to
I
make
can
it
make
6
it.
o'clock.
Have planning commission at 6 PM on the 18th.
Oh, no,
O'clock's great then.
Uh-huh. Are we having planning meeting?
I mean,
Todd.
it's only 5 minutes, so we can do it at 5.
Planning-
Fine.
three of us here to do it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, Todd needs time to get in here and set up, so I think 5 o'clock's
Well-
a great time.
5
okay.
o'clock's fine with me.
Fine with me.
I think I can make it happen. I mean, if I can't, there'll be 3 of you anyway.
I put it at 5.
Yeah, it's named after
Yes,
you.
we do, please.
Mr.
Oh,
President,
oh,
I'd
yeah,
I'd move we
5:30.
have the caucus
We should do.
on February 18th at 5 o'clock,
A second.
council chambers.
All right, I have a motion second to have the mayor's caucus at February 18th at 5 PM. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed unanimously.
Wait, Mayor, is that all right with you?
Oh, yeah, I'll just sit for 55 minutes and look at my computer. So yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Bring a book. Go to the library.
Oh, I can read it.
They don't open up.
Yeah, they are.
It's fine.
Item 4.2, did you take a vote? Yeah. All right, resolution number 846-25, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills, Florida, authorizing the City Council of the City of Zephyrhills, urging the Florida State Legislature to enact legislation to provide a public records exemption for municipal clerks and employees who perform municipal elections work or have any part in code enforcement functions of a city and providing for an effective date. The Florida Clerks Association, I know I didn't say that right.
Florida Association of City Clerks.
Thank you. FACC is requesting each city to pass this resolution to encourage state legislators to allow clerks to be exempt from public records. Any questions?
President, move approval.
Second.
Have a motion to second to approve resolution number 846-25. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. That's all from you, City Manager?
That is. Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to the mayor's announcements.
Tried to be. I really did want to thank our staff for the hard work they did for pigs this weekend. It was really great. Our officers were out there. Your staff did an amazing job. And yes, when I passed by and a big old thing of garbage, oh, I felt so bad for the guys. I wanted to just pick it up myself. That somebody would empty this gross garbage all over the ground. So, but they did an amazing job. I really feel like the event went well. The kids grilling competition, which is what I got to do, went well, and you guys got to be our judges. Thank you for that. Was your bellies full of pork?
Couldn't eat for 2 days.
Couldn't eat meat for 2 days. But I did appreciate that, and it really was nice. Tomorrow, Habitat is partnering with Owens Corning to put a new roof on a resident here in Zephyrhills, a veteran in Zephyrhills. They've done this throughout the state, but this first time that we've had anything in our area, and it just happens to be one of our employees. So I'm very excited about that. So we'll be out there tomorrow, and our guy will get a new roof for sure. So we're excited about that. Also, with the event that's going on Thursday, I know you guys were all going to try to be there on the grand opening, but it's going to be a fun event, and we appreciate Gail putting in the work to get this ready. And I think even though we got a lot of beat up on social media, I think it was the right choice to do it this way. So I'm happy about that. We're going to get beat up either way. So there you go. I think it's going to be a great thing, and we really needed to have that to where we're not going to have 500 cars out trying to find a place to park on the same thing. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, City Manager.
I've got a couple. All right, tennis center, if you've seen, they're vertical now with the steel structure. So that structure will be completed in June. So that's moving forward. Hercules Park, Thursday, 12 p.m. for the grand opening. The Silver Oaks Basin and the Zephyr Creek Canal projects were added to the LMS Friday afternoon. So we'll continue to work with the county on that. The portion of switching the flow on the reclaim line that runs into Silver Oaks past Geiger Pond, we'll work with the county. That was not added to the list, but we'll work with the county separately And there's some, I think, special approvals that have to be had by, or be gotten by SwiftMud and DEP for the use of that reclaimed line to put stormwater into it. So we'll work on that and then be able to put a pump and some generators there to be able to help move the water towards Geiger Pond. National Guard had their groundbreaking ceremony last week. City Yard, we're working on that. Unfortunately, it has come in, the engineer's estimate is much higher than what was originally discussed. And so we had a meeting this morning to work on that and do some VE suggestions. And so that'll come back to council at the appropriate time once we find a solution. Appropriations requests, those 4 projects were submitted. And then there was a question about our water use permit. Our water use permit last week, Michelle Hayes, which is our consultant, got an email from Brian Zane at SwiftMud. There was some language in there that we've agreed to, which ultimately gives us 4.11 million gallons per day, with the opportunity to get up to the 4.49, which we requested. And we'll have a presentation to council in the future because we'll have to, beginning in January of 26, we have to show or prove the demand and the need for the water as we draw it out. And if we're not able to show that demand with development, then our permit will be reduced or not increased. What we're working on currently with that is there was an agreement. If you remember, the Evans Orsi properties had 4 wells with about 790,000 gallons permit. We're working on an agreement that they'll give us those wells. We take that capacity, but they're still able to use some of that water for ag flow. And then once they develop, it'll transfer from ag use to potable or public use. So we're working through that agreement. Matt and I will meet tomorrow to hopefully finalize that agreement and get that back to the Evans Orsi attorney, which is Clark Hobby. The only other question I had, just wanted to verify that the workshop on March 17th for the Parks Master Plan and the CRA Master Plan is still, you want to have it on March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day. We wanted to verify that before we started advertising it out to the, yeah, well, Gail's going to cook, I guess. So March 17th is a Monday. It's the one off Monday outside of March 3rd, but Youth Council has a meeting on the 3rd. So it's the only free Monday that we have because we're either in Tallahassee, we either have meetings scheduled already or we're in Tallahassee. So the Monday is the only, if you want to have it on Monday, it would have to be the 17th.
Do you want to move it over to the Tuesday if we're not going to have a planning meeting,
I think
Well,
you
does
said
anybody have
March
plans on
18th.
Monday
Yes,
night?
a lot of them do. Yeah, some of them do. Some people do.
St. Patrick's Day?
I don't.
Well,
But
I'm
there
saying,
are
that
people
wouldn't you
that do.
celebrate it the Saturday before usually? It's a weekend.
Listen, I
don't
don't know.
If you're real Irish, you do it on the 17th.
Right.
So if you're real Irish, you do it on the 17th.
No, we don't want to push anything anywhere. We push too much already. I suggest we keep it.
I mean,
Somebody wants to go party on.
I just want to make sure.
I'm good with either day, whatever you.
I mean, I can do it Tuesday too. I think I'm wide open.
I'm asking what they want.
Billy wants to move it.
It doesn't have.
We starting at 5?
Set.
Are we starting at 5?
We're going to start at 5. Yeah. What is the 18th?
18th is
18th is a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I know, but you had this marked on the 18th. Is that a planning commission night?
It's a planning commission.
Night.
So planning commission could go to the 17th.
Well, or do they need to have one? Yeah. Sometimes we don't have them if there's nothing pushing
Nothing for it.
on the agenda. That's why I'm saying. Yeah.
I'm good the way it is.
So
You advertise it for the 17th or
What if
18th.
there-
I'll
what
be here
if-
whatever day
if
you
we
advertise
change
it
To
for.
the 18th and there's a planning commission, then what do we do?
Yeah, we can't.
Then we have to
We'll move the
postpone it.
planning commission. We can leave it at 17th.
I mean,
It's fine.
5 to 7.
oh, you were really
Yeah.
Irish,
What's that? I'm Irish.
not real Irish.
What do you mean? What's not real Irish? My
You said
ancestry is
real
Irish.
people celebrate on the 17th.
He dropped the O before his, O before the Po.
Yeah.
I can out Irish you with my Murphy side.
That's where my grandparents are from, so I'd say I'm Irish. All right, that's all I have.
All right, city attorney.
I was going to ask if we could move the meeting to the 18th.
Are you an old maggard too?
Maggards. No, I don't have anything.
Okay.
I don't come to those anyway, so it doesn't matter. It matters, Billy.
All right, why are you beating around the bush? Do you have plans that night? Tentative plans that night?
here for you if we did it on the 18th. We can.
Yes, it would be.
Then let's do
and then,
that.
all right, we'll do it the 18th.
Okay, then let's just do it the 18th if it's going to make life easier for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
found out he was Irish by all this bantering around. I didn't know that.
Play the bagpipes?
Okay.
What's her last name?
It's O'Donovan, isn't it?
It's Shaughnessy or something.
O'Reilly's?
All right.
Councilman Smith?
Oh,
I guess it's Tuesday.
Now it's Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
yeah, Tuesday.
Okay.
I'm going to confirm.
What was the name of the young lady who presented the tobacco?
Amare.
Amare. She did a great job.
She
you
did.
know?
Yeah.
And she's sixth grade, comes up here, speaks before people. Think about when you were sixth grade.
Oh, yeah.
Very difficult. She did a great job. The Zephyr Creek shed, watershed improvements that Billy spoke of on his, I don't know if y'all had read that thing, went through it, but it's real comprehensive, and it starts at 301 and works its way all the way through Betmar, through Zephyr Park, and all the way up to Island Boulevard. It's something we need to do. There's two parts to it in my mind. That's the long-term fix. Then there's a short-term fix, which would be some pumping. But the other short-term fix that we got to make sure we're on top of is cleaning the system
Oh, yeah.
and making sure that thing's clean. So I'm going to keep pounding that. Pigs and Zephyrhills, Charlie and I ate 27 pieces of pork loin.
You can blame me for that because, yeah.
I think it was 30
Well,
actually.
And the problem is we're not smart enough to just take a bite and
You
put
only
it down.
take one
We
bite.
eat the whole thing.
Oh,
So
you were only supposed to take
that was our
one
fault
bite.
there, though. But it was a great event, though. Wonderful event. All the businesses were packed down there. People were having a blast. I heard just wonderful feedback. So great job by the chamber. They did a wonderful job. I have asked the city manager to put on the next agenda an item, park safety, because I'm kind of concerned about the opening of Hercules. I've just noticed more and more people hanging out at the Wawa. And I just want to make sure that our families and everybody feels safe when they go in the park.
Yeah.
I feel for homeless people, but the residents of Zephyrhills need to be able to enjoy the park and feel safe when they're using it. So I think we need to stay on top of that. Everybody, I feel like, y'all know that I feel like the staff does a great job, everybody. There's one guy that I thought of that really did a good job, and that's Ricardo Q. He's done a great job. He kind of got thrust into that position as city clerk. And honestly, you've done a fantastic job. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
That's it.
Again, the Pigs and Zephyrhills was an amazing time, except for the
Yeah.
30 pieces of pork. And a young lady unthroned me for hog calling champion last year. But she
Picture of
beat me
that.
fair and square.
Councilman Proctor, I think there's a picture of you going around
I
on the
saw you
internet.
just sent it to me.
I don't know. We'll send that if anybody'd like to see it. I have that.
I appreciate that.
His hog call.
You were mid hog call, I think.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, I just wanted to, you stole my thunder a little bit. I just wanted to congratulate Ricardo on becoming the city clerk, the actual city clerk, not acting city clerk. And I think it's well deserved. It's well deserved. It just happened. And I think
Today?
it's, no,
Oh.
recently. And I just think it's well deserved. And like, I appreciate all the help you give and support. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, and congratulations on that, Ricardo, so.
Yeah.
Thank you. I thought you were already the official, I thought you were already officially, but doing a great job,
So
so.
did I.
Hey. It's Billy. Like you didn't like announce it or anything?
The Pigs and Zephyrhills did come out real well, and I think where the police had their, what's that unit called, crisis, whatever, the community engagement, that was perfect where it was located, right centrally, right in the middle. If something was to happen, whatever, you're right there, that worked out really good. It was a good event. I think it went off really well. And thank you guys for kind of letting me go in the beginning of the meeting there, talk about Coach Fisher, because a lot of our employees were coached by Coach Fisher, and were taught by him and stuff too. And so he's was a big part of the community. It was a sad day yesterday, but anyways,
Sorry to hear that.
yeah. All right, meeting adjourned.
Went fairly well.